Hey guys, welcome back to Professional Weekers YouTube channel. Today we are back home and we just returned from our trip to Thailand where we had an amazing time. And today's topic, we want to talk about what's the best budget airline for getting around Thailand during your visit. So if you want to find out that you're in the right place, stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's go.
So when we were in Thailand, we were there for just under 3 weeks. So with that, we landed in Bangkok, stayed in Bangkok for a couple of days, flew from Bangkok's domestic airport up to Chiang Mai, and then from Chiang Mai to Phuket, and then Phuket back to Bangkok.
So each of those flights were about an hour, a little bit longer. The flight from Chiang Mai to Phuket may have been closer to 2 hours, but all relatively quick flights. And they were all around the same price. We chose the most luxurious option that we could within each budget airline, and each ticket was roughly right around $100, give or take.
So we flew AirAsia from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, we flew Viet from Chiang Mai to Phuket, and then we flew Thai Smile from Phuket back to Bangkok. So for the course of this video, we're going to talk about the individual pieces about each airline and what made it unique for us, and then we'll pick our favorite at the end.
The very first airline that we flew was AirAsia. Now this one we kind of waited to book because we were hoping to book the train between Bangkok and Chiang Mai, which I think is a great option, but unfortunately the weekend that we decided to go was some sort of Thai holiday, and there was a lot of people heading up to Chiang Mai for the weekend or vice versa, and yeah, the train was sold out. We couldn't get a train seat, so we ended up booking AirAsia. The one thing I noticed immediately for AirAsia was they did not have like a more premium option. There, you know, when we get to later on, we'll talk about like Viet. They had like the Sky Boss tier. With AirAsia, there was nothing like that. The only more premium that you could get was kind of bundling a few different options together, and that was like early boarding, priority seating, that sort of thing. There wasn't even an option. I don't recall, I could be wrong, but there was an option for more bags, and that's kind of where this started, where our issues with AirAsia started.
And this is where the train fell off the rails.
We only had the standard, even though I booked like the biggest bundle package that we could, we only had the standard 20 kilogram per person weight limit for our bags. And since we were there for a while, and because Christine likes to pack a lot,
sorry dude,
we were over the weight limit, and we knew we were going to be over the weight limit. We had closer to 30 kilos per person. Yeah, and they were the most expensive as well. I mean, I think it was like $5 per kilo or something like that. It ended up costing us an extra $140 just to get our bags, and an extra 20 kilos of luggage to Chiang Mai from Bangkok. Again, an hour flight. Yeah. We spent more on the bags than if we just bought another ticket. Yeah.
So what's interesting though is I think because we waited and bought and weighed our luggage and paid for it at the airport, that's what we ended up more expensive.
Right. Part of it, we were kind of waiting to make sure that we had everything loaded up and we were going to weigh it, and just I think we waited too long to pre-purchase any additional luggage. So so that was an
expensive lesson. Yeah,
that was expensive. So right off the bat, an extra $140 just to get the luggage.
So whenever we booked AirAsia, we did not fly out of BKK. We flew out of the airport that's more north of the city. So that was something we also had to pay for in terms of getting a Bolt to that airport. This is where we found out that our Bolt wasn't going to be able to make it because it was traffic, but somehow our taxi driver was able to get us there in about 20 minutes. So thank goodness for that. Now, with that being said, this was also the first time we've experienced having to stay with your bags as it goes through security. Here in the US, you drop your bags off, it goes through security behind closed doors. You don't ever see it again. But here they actually had to wave us through, and your bags are good. So I thought that was interesting. That's something.
You have to stand by and watch your bag go through on a CCTV screen. Yeah. So
AirAsia was one of the airlines. It was the only airline that we flew inside of Thailand that did not give us a lounge access.
Yeah. So again, like we booked the most premium option that we could, and it did not include lounge access. So no lounge before we were able to get on the plane.
Yeah.
But we did have priority boarding, which meant that we could get on the plane sooner and kind of get settled in, as well as priority seating. So this one, we actually were in row 2, and I probably should have selected the bulkhead. Sometimes I was a little worried that maybe the bulkhead would give you less space, but no, the bulkhead was definitely where to sit. And in row 2, even though it was premium seating, rows 1 and 2 were considered the premium seating. I barely fit in the seat. My knees were digging into the seat in front of me, and I'm about 6'2", and it was a very uncomfortable ride. And also too, we had booked the outside and the window and the aisle seat, and someone did book that middle seat. And so when that happens, we tend to swap with them. And so I ended up in the middle seat, crammed in, and it was not the most comfortable flight.
The flight itself, right? Just kind of, I would kind of compare it to it being, a domestic Spirit flight. If you have ever flown Spirit in the U.S., it's not a lot of frills, with the exception though, and I think this has to do with the culture in Thailand, that you're always served food on even short 30-minute flights, which I found to be pretty astounded. So.
I do think that was, again, part of the package that we selected.
Oh, okay,
that it
fair.
did come with food. Otherwise, we could pre-order our meals, which we did. Otherwise, I think there were meals available for purchase.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, and I remember the food being okay.
Yeah, food was decent. Airline food.
Yeah.
So moving on to our second flight. This is our flight from Chiang Mai to Phuket, and this was our longest flight while we were in Thailand. And for this flight, we chose to fly Thai Viet Jet, specifically the Sky Boss tier. So Sky Boss is the top level tier that offered in Viet Jet. It comes with all the thrills, everything that you would want from a premium service, and I thought it was actually pretty spectacular.
I really enjoyed the flight too. I think out of we had. All our flight attendants were amazing, but I think these flight attendants were just a little more excited about their job maybe than some of the others. But I remember having plenty of legroom because we were in the bulkhead seat. Not even the bulkhead seat. We were like by like the main entrance of the door, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't even the bulkhead. Yeah, there was the door in the aisle, and then 4 feet later there was the lavatory.
Yeah.
Like, I really could stretch out.
Yeah. So Lewis being 6'2", I'm only 5'4", so we definitely had plenty of space. We lucked out on this flight because while we always book the aisle and the window seat, no one actually booked the seat between us. So we actually had 3 seats across.
So they do not reserve that center seat to be open. So someone could sit there, but in this case no one did. So we lucked out on that.
With this one we did get a really nice lounge access. It was the Coral Lounge. Our poor I remember whenever we got there, we're like, no, you have access, no, you don't have access. Yeah.
So. I think what it is not a whole lot of people shell out the extra money for Sky Boss, particularly in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
And so when we first showed up and we told the lady at the front, like, hey, we're Sky Boss, we're supposed to have access to this lounge. She denied us and said that we weren't. And then she apparently made some phone calls, and then we're like, oh, okay, well, we didn't.
No big deal.
we
thanks
went
anyway.
off. Went off to go find something, and then she actually chased us down, tracked us down in the airport.
She was the sweetest lady. So apologetic, made us all kinds of food and everything, and she
escorted us back to the lounge.
Yeah. So she was so sweet. She was blessed.
So I just, like I said, I just don't think many people do that option. But having access to the Coral Lounge was nice. Another thing about the Coral Lounge was, while it was pretty nice, it was fairly limited on food options and drinks options. It was a very small kind of boutique style lounge, and it's not like anything like you'd find like in
it's not a Delta Sky Lounge.
Yeah,
for sure.
American Express Centurion.
Yeah.
It's definitely a smaller sort of lounge, but anything is definitely appreciated.
Yeah. So plenty of legroom, lounge access, the nicest flight attendants, and it was the.
We had priority boarding on this one as well.
We did.
After we left the lounge, we went over to get on the plane, and they actually sat us right up front in the waiting area. In Thailand, they treat monks with all utmost respect. It was the monks and then us.
Yeah.
We were right up front. They let us board so early that they hadn't even prepared the plane, and we actually ended up just hanging out in the jet bridge for a couple of minutes while they were finishing.
Talking to the flight attendants,
while they're finishing, they're wrapping up, cleaning the plane or whatever they were doing.
Yep.
So before we boarded. So this one, while we did wait in the jet bridge, if we had been at an airport where we needed to do a shuttle, that we would have actually had a private shuttle as well. So they say private transport to the plane. So it's just a bus, right? So everybody else gets on one bus, and all the Sky Boss people get on a separate bus.
So it was funny whenever Lewis was telling me about these flights, because he booked them and I had no idea what we were flying until I showed up, right? So he's like, oh, we're going to have this private car is going to take us. And I'm thinking, okay. Like,
I said private transport. I didn't say car.
He said car. So he's like, watch us be like some crazy, like Mercedes or something. And
that'd
I'm
be
like,
nice.
But with that being said, though, whenever we actually got to the seats, we were able to kind of get settled in. Everyone else kind of filtered out around us. The flight attendants were, again, fantastic. Asked us multiple times if we needed anything before the flight took off. And then once the flight took off, they took our order. So we were able to order a meal and a snack. That was all included. I will say, though, we ordered a couple of things. But this, sorry, we don't have that. We don't have that.
They had a big, several page menu. It was almost like the Cheesecake Factory of the skies. But unfortunately, most of the things that we had ordered were not available.
But I remember the food being pretty good. And then as soon as we landed in Phuket, they kind of let us off first, right? Because, part of whatever we purchased. We got our bags and we got it right off the gangway.
Yeah,
Our bags did also pop out first, I noticed.
Yeah. So we had priority
baggage as well.
Bag check. Yeah. So one of the first ones off the plane.
So whenever we landed in Phuket, we were quick to get our bags. I think it was like bag 3 and 4, right, of the 2,000 bags that were on that flight.
So, and then the third and final flight, this was Thai Smile, and we flew Thai Smile from Phuket back to Bangkok. With Thai Smile, we booked a premium economy seat. This was their top tier level that they offered available for this route. And so with this, you basically get, it's very similar to the Skyboss in that you get the priority boarding, you get the priority baggage, you get the the upfront seating, you get lounge access. But I think the big difference is they reserve the center seat for your comfort. So no one can possibly sit between you. So you're going to have either a window or you're going to have an aisle, and there's going to be an empty seat next to you. Walk us through what was it like checking in? And
whenever we arrived at the airport in Phuket, we were able to line up in like the priority economy line. We're going through much more quickly.
The regular line was insane.
I know,
miles long.
Right. I'm so glad that we actually had that because we were able to quickly go through the line, get through security, right, and go along our way. Though the issue that we had was whenever we checked in, want to believe this is not a scam.
Yeah.
Whenever we weighed our bags, right? Because we knew how much our bags weighed because Lewis has bought that for Christmas for me one year.
A luggage scale,
right? So we knew exactly how much our bags weighed because we wanted to prepare for, having to pay for anything extra. We get to the airport, we go to check in, and our bags, we had 3 checked bags. Each bag weighed 5 pounds over.
5 kilos.
5 kilos, 5 kilos over what we knew that they were weighing. As in that footage here, where the lady who was checking us in was almost just like, well, how do I really know that's how much your bag weighs? And you're telling me it's 5. So Lewis said, hey, well,
she wanted to charge us like another $40 or $50.
Yeah.
Which wasn't, insane, but it was extra money that I didn't think that we needed to spend. So I convinced her to, I showed her on my luggage scale that it was less than what her luggage, than what, the official one was showing. And then we, did a third comparison at a separate luggage scale within the airport, again, another official one. And that one was exactly the same as what my personal luggage scale did.
Yeah.
And so she took the reading off that second official luggage scale. And at that point, then we hit that 30 kilos per person, so again 60 kilos. Just like Viet, we had 60 kilos available, and didn't have to pay any additional luggage fees.
Yeah, so just being on the lookout for that. And so for me, that kind of already soured my experience, even though I know, right, Vietjet.
I think it was an honest mistake. I don't think it was her fault. I think the scale's just off.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how I choose to look at it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Glass half full. So with that being said, we were able to go over to the Thai Smile Lounge. That's where Lewis tried to give me tomato juice as opposed to apple juice. I'll link the video down below because that was a pretty funny video.
Yeah, and that lounge was fairly nice.
Yeah,
it was another small lounge, but they did have several different options, and it felt more like a traditional kind of airport lounge. Be it a smaller one, but more traditional airport lounge than maybe say like the Coral Boutique Lounge felt.
And then we were able to hop on our flights. I liked having the bulkhead seating this time because I felt a little safer with something in front of me as opposed to just 4 feet. But it was nice having that reserve space, that reserve spot between the two of us.
And so again, we were first zone to board. Pretty easy there. They line people up kind of similar to like Southwest.
Yeah, corrals people.
Yeah, we were one of the first people on the flight. But having that center seat reserved, I think was the big game changer there. That really set that apart from any of the other airlines, like particularly, Vietjet, which was, I think, the most comparable between the two. So, what did you think about the food on Thai Smile?
I thought the food was just okay. I don't remember loving it. I remember it being just okay. I really don't remember what it was. I just remember it just being just meh, okay.
Okay, yeah. I think the food was pretty comparable on all 3 flights, and nothing spectacular on any of them, but it was kind of a nice little added thing. Yeah. So, out of all 3, I know we're going to disagree on this, but my favorite, I like Thai Smile. I know we had the issue with the baggage checking in. Like I said, I think that was an honest mistake. I don't think that there was any malicious intent there.
How can your bag consistently weigh 5 pounds over, though?
The scale was just off by 5 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they just didn't get calibrated that day. There's probably a lot of people that paid a lot of money that day. I don't know if they fixed it after we left. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that was an honest mistake. Other than that, it was a very similar product to Viet Skyboss. I think what just sets it apart is having that center seat booked, and so that way you're not having to sit next to anybody rubbing any elbows. You get the full double armrest for yourself. And when I fly, that's the main thing I'm looking for is honestly is that extra space. Particularly not only just front to back but side to side as well. I would definitely fly Thai Smile again if I had the chance.
Yeah, I think I probably would pick Vietjet, mainly because I thought the Coral Lounge was a little bit nicer than the Thai Smile Lounge, and then I also thought that the service I think on Vietjet was a little bit better.
I think they're very close.
Very close, yeah, very close, very close.
So I think the only thing we can agree on is I wouldn't fly AirAsia again.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
But yeah, if you got Vietjet Skyboss or if you got the Thai Smile Premium Economy,
Sure.
either of those are great options. So
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for us today. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comments below. Have you ever flown any of these airlines, or are there any other airlines that we missed and you think that we should check out? So let us know about your experience in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. Remember to hit that subscribe button. That's super important. We really appreciate that. And with that being said, we are out of here and we'll see you next weekend.
Bye.
Bye. The whatever tier at Delta, I forget what they call it, but they'll actually pick you up in a Porsche and drive you between planes. So that's
What's
not
that
what
like?
happened here.
We don't know.
Well, one other thing, trying chronologically, sorry. Right.
You can't see her, so it's fine. The generalities of each of those.
You can't see her now. I just saw her head pop up there.
Can you lay down? Can you sit? Okay, you got to be still. Okay.